The general experience of playing single-player Half-Life 2 campaign mods is the equivalent of someone smuggling shrooms in their prison pocket into your mental institution for your weekly art therapy classes. Everyone knows they're doing a good thing, but you can't help but wonder why the nurses aren't just growing the good stuff for all of us patients instead of prescribing the same old boring antipsychotics. In this scenario, Gabe Newell is the nurse, Adam Foster is the smuggler, and we are all the Half-Life 3 depraved patients in a facility of AAA slop. Good afternoon, tweakers. My name is Moldy Fishstick, and my job at this lovely establishment is to point you to all of the good dealers and tell you exactly why. Half-Life Minerva is a free single-player mod of Half-Life 2 available on Steam. It was actually so good that Adam Foster landed a job at Valve after releasing this game, and is now working hard with Half-Life 3, which will be releasing with the Orange Box 2, featuring Portal 3 and Left 4 Dead 3 as well. In Minerva, you navigate a mysterious Combine-controlled island guided by messages from an unseen observer. This campaign features well-crafted levels, great combat, immersive environmental storytelling, and truly ball-tingling creepy moments with a lot of oh shit, holy shit, and fuck me kind of moments. This completely blew me off my rocker, ladies and gents. As always, the first segment of this video will be a spoiler-free review of the game, which will contain the awesome, the good, and the bad. Then we will have a story summary and analysis of the entire journey. Let's get it crackin'. The majority of this game was giving me mad nostalgia from the final mission of Our Benefactors, but on Trenbolone, and also it kind of reminded me of Halo Combat Evolved in a way. It weaves a mysterious narrative that complements the Half-Life lore and overall aesthetic, while having probably 2 to 3 times as much gunfights. It was honestly as if Black Ops Zombies and Half-Life had a power metal baby, but unlike other mods reviewed on this channel, the core gameplay and weapons sandbox sticks loyally to Half-Life 2, which is not a bad thing at all. Coming from Swelter, I think I overall do prefer not aiming down sights or having a few unbalanced guns stashed away in my inventory. You actually step into an overall familiar world that feels near and dear to your heart. If you like the combat of Half-Life 2, you will love this experience, but if you like the puzzles of Half-Life, there's a strong chance this might not be a game for you, as there is a lot, and I mean a lot of Combine sellouts to be shot around every single corner of this game, from the very first mission until the very last. Hard mode will give you that challenge with a fair amount of cover and corners in even the tightest areas of this game provided by the maps to satisfy your most murderous cravings. The storytelling style does add its own unique charm to it. You kind of get briefed on your overall mission and what to do through a message system from someone that you never see, and although I did think it was a great addition to the game, I do think I would have preferred for it to be voiced. It never really popped up during combat, but sometimes I would have to walk up a ladder or get distracted with where I was supposed to be going while I was reading it, and it's only there for a limited amount of time, so I occasionally didn't get to read everything on my first playthrough. A really good voice actor would have propelled this game even further, but in saying that, a bad one could have ruined it. The mystique and contextual content that you gain from the messages add an incredible amount of immersion and awareness to the adventure as a whole, and it's something that really pushes this mod to another level, all the while making it still feel like an official Half-Life game. Something I wasn't expecting were all the twists and jaw-dropping, pant-drenching moments that took place as the story unfolded. But don't stress, what you discover and what unravels is something that I will leave for the spoiler summary section of this video. The puzzles in this game is pretty much just trial and error with the environment, then logically sound, and I'm not gonna lie, I had to be a silly little slag and look up some walkthroughs on how to get past certain areas, because I literally had no fucking clue what the fuck I was doing every time I hit a roadblock. Well, not ever. It was only like maybe 2 times I looked up a bollocks gameplay. Every time I passed a roadblock, I was more stunned with the solutions instead of having any kind of epiphany, but in saying that, it didn't take too much away from the game as a whole, as it only happened like 2 times. I think this is also one of the more replayable Half-Life mods out there, as once you know where you're supposed to be going and heading and what you're doing, it won't take too long at all to complete, and you can just be left with the immersive atmosphere and epic gunfights. The map design is amazing, and the tension you get when you can hear the Combine above or below you and you see them on a video feedback screen chasing you down is superbly done.
Are you pooping? I can smell you.
That said, I think that there are some small negatives this game has that I will touch on before getting into any spoilers. Firstly, the combat is great, as there is an abundance of them, but the Combine AI does feel more robotic than anything else I've played, as their paths are very linear and undeviating at times. It's as if the majority of paths are a sequence of tunnels and you get the Combine all split up and go through each path in a very non-sentient and evenly distributed way. At times they would even continue on their designated path while they are firing at me, just to walk right past me, only to double back and continue firing after getting to that designated area. It felt very, very scripted at times. Not all the time, but enough of the time for me to notice and take advantage of it if I were to die and try again. And yeah, the game is replayable, but it's very, very short once you know exactly where you're going. It can take within an hour for you to beat it if you don't get absolutely staunched by the waves of unrelenting enemies that are around every corner. And yeah, the environment was amazing and it stayed true to the Half-Life aesthetic, but you can double back quite a lot and feel like the map layouts are a bit too repetitive at times. And a lot of people report this feeling like a corridor maze with overwhelming and endless waves upon waves of enemies to shoot down. And while I don't agree with the negative reviews on Steam about this aspect, I mean, I understand why they feel that way. I still think it's an incredible addition to the modding community for Half-Life 2, but when you compare it to some of the best campaign mods out there, this is no way perfect in all regards. I think my overall rating for this game would be a solid 6.75 out of 10, and that's in no way a bad thing, but it does suck because there's so many aspects that I do really like about it, but there are a few things that just kind of threw me off as well. 5 is an average, and it's still a pretty good game in my opinion, but I do think that this game has a lot more going for it to make it an above average experience, which I will touch on in my story summary and retrospective. If you want to play this game, just be warned, this is your last spoiler warning, and with that out of the way, let's begin. The campaign starts off with a stolen Combine helicopter circling around a Combine-infested island. You get some information that you're a part of a scientific investigation and you must infiltrate and observe this location. Upon drop-off, you're told to get your shit together and just run around the island and find a safe route. This whole vibe of the island was very similar to the silent cartographer in Halo Combat Evolved and gave me an unexplainable feeling of nostalgia. Your mysterious narrator introduces themselves as your Athena while you are their bastard Perseus, and the island itself is Medusa. He doesn't beat around the bush. Once you've survived long enough, he lets you know that the goal of this mission is to infiltrate this base, reveal the secrets inside, and destroy it to hell. I like how you're not fully sure if you should trust this weirdo, as they say something like, how was I supposed to know there'd be a heavily armed outpost at the other side of this island? Oh wait, it was in the satellite photos, never mind. Have fun! Did I mention there was a lot of Combine sellouts to slaughter to shit? You finally begin making your way down an elevator and squeeze your way through some tight claustrophobic lanes while being murked by turrets. The problematic force fields are still up and running, but once you've opened the surface doors for the orbital tower downlink shaft, you have to make your way back up, shoot some more sellouts, and then come to this giant flow of extremely hot electrically charged plasma directed from a Combine satellite down into the Earth. And it's your sorry ass that needs to get down there and have a little squiz of what the fuck it's doing. Turns out that this underground location was an old World War II outpost that may have had some prior occupants, rebellionists. Interestingly, the Observer actually suggests that your rebel friends certainly have a cause. Their reason for fighting leaves much to be desired, and kind of confirms with you that you've renounced everything. So it's here that we understand we were either a rebel or in the least friends with them beforehand, but for whatever reason we have changed sides to a rather third, unexplainable party that gives you a stolen suit, but still perceives you to be traitorous. You come across what the unseen observer calls Breen's personal Mittelwerk. Mittelwerk, a word for context, refers to a German World War II factory built underground. You come across steel cells containing stalkers who are reaching for freedom after working to death, liquefying out of their cages into pools of stinky filth. The observer says that you would be the same if it wasn't for him. He instructs you to get to the main security door as they would love to see what the Combine have been working on. All the while, there's a flock of Overwatch dropships converging on this location. As you go lower and lower into this facility, your balls get more and more tingly. This game really perfects the unsettling feeling that Source games provide. I don't know if it's the brutalist architecture that comes with the vibe of Half-Life 2, or the general lighting and textures, but I weirdly love and crave this spooky feel. The maps are extremely well designed, and the soundscape adds quite a lot to the atmosphere as a whole. The whole section where you have to use a giant steel block to ram down a security door was done awesomely as well. It gave you the perfect amount of haste, fear, and thrill to knock that shit down as quick as possible before continuing on. As the mysteries of this facility continue to unravel, you discover that they're fucking around with some head crabs and genetic material, repackaging the larvae from them, using it for some unknown Combine atrocities. Even the shady observer indicates that the Combine have a strong lack of morals within warfare, and you gotta shut this shit down with force. The observer realizes that the downlink that you followed, the one that's coming from the satellite into the Earth, is probably way too big for this little shitbox that you're in. This is merely a secondary antechamber, probably being used in some grander scheme. So deeper you go. You make your way down a really awesome winding staircase, and as Combine follow you down, it's very hard to see where they are on the walkway while they're shooting you, adding to the overall eeriness of this campaign. I do like these tight areas with close range gunfights, even if it was some other players' negatives to this game. I guess it depends on what kind of game you like, but it fits really well into the mod. You enter a weapon confiscation field further on, and the observer manages to cloak your suit's signature so he's still able to talk to you, and you're still able to charge up your suit's level. The good news is you can find new weapons, but the bad news is that anything dropped in this location will immediately disintegrate. In other words, you won't be able to pick up any weapons or ammo from fallen enemies. This is probably one of the only times I did struggle to find enough ammo for everything, but it wasn't too tough. But before even that happens, you are left without any weapons for quite some time, which raised the stakes a fair bit. All in all, I feel that this game was still very fair and reasonable, but we are about to witness something purely astonishing. You enter a wide area and witness a portal open up all over your face to the Combine overworld. I mean, apparently it's not, but I just want to think that it is, because that's fucking sexy, man. Even the observer literally opens up his next message with, "Oh fuck," because oh fuck, that was some epic shit, man. Your observer starts to be an absolute bipolar piece of shit to you again, comparing you to a recycled carcass trapped in a Gorgon's nest. Apparently, without this mystery dude's help and all of your fancy equipment that he's given you, you are just a dumb grunt with a larynx torn out. Yeah, that sure makes me motivated, mate. Would be a damn shame if I jumped into this fucking Combine portal. Wouldn't that be awesome, mate? Maybe be fucking grateful next time you send me on some suicide missions like this, yeah. This does bring up another point. I really hope to see a decent campaign where we do go and visit the Combine overworld, maybe as a Combine cop like in Entropy 03, or even on some undercover mission for like the Resistance or something. But I understand that it would be difficult to accomplish something like that. Bipolar Bob comes back to actually apologize for his lectures, but he reckons that the portal beyond that is not a part of the Combine, but conceals secrets far beyond his reckoning, whatever the fuck that means. I still think that it's a possibility that it could be the overworld, as Combine airships do come through it, but who knows. He then later wants you to destroy plasma buffers to destabilize the system so it's vulnerable from the power surges above, and once you destroy the 3 plasma buffers, shit well and truly hits the fan with poo particles spraying all over your eyes and mouth. Shit goes fully fucked, mate. I'm swearing a lot. Why did I type out so many swear words? Your observer rips off his mask and smacks you with the cold hard truth. He's been allowing you to dig your own grave and is about to instruct the satellite to blow up this whole establishment along with you inside it. You are a traitor to the human race and the Combine alike, and he hopes that you've redeemed yourself in the eyes of whatever you still hold dear. This whole trope never gets boring, by the way, depending on how it's executed, and this whole section was done flawlessly. The entire monologue typed out in front of you is extremely well written. You can tell Adam Foster took deep care with this project and the quality of the script. I do think that a really good voice actor would have served this well, but it's still an extremely epic segment of this game. But surprise, surprise, after the building gets blown to hell, you get rebooted and you get awoken by the observer, surprised with your survival. But he even says that, hey, if you make your way to the surface now, you could get a rescue party to swoop you off your boots. I mean, bipolar is an understatement at this point. What follows here is very, very similar to Half-Life 1's opening when you're making your way out of the depths of Black Mesa while fighting head crabs and zombies. I really wanted to mention that in the spoiler-free section for this video, but I really didn't want to spoil what would happen. Turns out everything's set loose. All the rogue scientific experiments on head crabs roam free, and you encounter many sections where you are fighting both the Combine and Zen atrocities, oftentimes fighting amongst each other as well. This was fucking metal as shit. I absolutely love the environment as you make your way up the elevator and see burning debris fall down around you, forcing you to take paths around this broken facility. The only shitty aspect about this segment is the puzzle, where you have to shoot a loose piece of platform above you. Seriously, man, hey, how was I supposed to know to shoot that thing? If it weren't for our good friend Bollocks here, you might not have been seeing this review right now. Bullshit puzzle placement. I guess another downside of the later part of this game is there is a lot of backtracking. And although the enemies and the atmosphere is entirely shaken up, I would have liked to maybe go up a different path if possible, as it felt a bit repeated. But anyway, let's continue. You fight your way up and your observer actually admits that he's grown slightly attached to you and is holding off that final cauterizing blast from the power downlink, even though he's shitting himself that the Combine now knows where he is. He does admit though that he's not sure how long that this kind gesture will last, and continuously reiterates that he would love for you to come to the surface. Closer to the surface, he lets you know that he's a fully sick hacker that has reprogrammed the turrets to no longer attack you, and you can even utilize them to target your enemies. He brings the story back to Perseus, the story at the start of the game. He funnily says, turns out that Perseus did escape after all, and is procured an escape route for you. But before you're able to escape safely, there is an aerial gunship approaching your position, a gunship which you have to destroy. Once it's demolished, you gotta make your way to the chopper and get the fuck off this island, as the downlink satellites are now infesting the whole island. And with that, the campaign comes to an end, and you get one final view of the downlink satellite, absolutely obliterating this island to shit. If I wet my glittering sword and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies, and I will reward them that hate me. I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh. The end text continues to say that there is no merciful God, there is no benevolent deities to aid us. We are all alone in this battle, so should we dare to take up their ancient abandoned weapons and become gods like ourselves? Only time will tell. What a fucking killer closing monologue to end this campaign. The Combine have ravaged planet Earth far beyond recognition, with technology far beyond our understanding, but who's to say what we would do with the same abandoned weapons if the Resistance proved victorious against them? Would we perpetuate this endless cycle of violence across the galaxy? There's also a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to your backstory, but it's kind of left at that perfect way, where you know kind of what happens. At once you were a rebel, or were friends with rebels. Then you became a Combine cop, or perhaps a Combine soldier. What made you turn to the Combine, and then what made you betray the Combine as well? Who are you currently working for? I feel like this leaves a lot of discussion for the community to have, like in such a perfect way. And this will definitely go down as one of the best games, like best Half-Life games that I've ever played. This was incredible. But yeah, with the summary out of the way, the video is now over. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to subscribe, you're more than welcome to. I would greatly appreciate it, as I might be making some more Half-Life videos soon. But I'll catch you in the next episode. As always, stay humble, stay safe, and stay sexy. Suck your nipple.